Coming up on WUFT's First at 5, eliminating the volume of waste in the city of Gainesville, how leaders are targeting upcoming college graduates with its zero waste ordinance.
We'll give you the reader's note on this local book sale.
And after Sunday's storms, it's a cool start to the work week, but summer heat is returning. Your UF forecast is coming up. WUFT's First at 5 starts right now.
First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Gainesville City Manager met with UF administrators this morning to continue negotiations with the city's RTS bus system, a decision that could slice the city's transit funding in half. Welcome to First at 5. I'm Serra Sowers.
And I'm Kennedy Mason. UF leaders say the charges too much for fares while the city maintains the costs are even. The city provided transit operations data revealing UF calculations per person rate were incorrect. The city says as more students and staff resumed bus riding, the cost per passenger for UF riders steadily decreased since 2021. According to the city, UF's current rate is 40% below the current full cost of transit service. Of 39 total routes, RTS has 20 that serve UF, including 5 on-campus routes. According to UF administration, today's negotiation was productive. Both parties agreed to continue talks. The city leaders say the community relies on UF support. Multiple funding and grant resources are based on RTF's ridership volume. Leaders say a decreased amount of UF riders could cause RTS to lose state and federal funding, and RTS might have to scale the remaining services back even further.
There was a chill in the air as you headed out the door this morning, but things warmed up quite quickly. The chilly air came from a weekend cold front that brought strong storms and showers, but the rain didn't last long as we take a live look at Paynes Prairie from our DOT camera, where it's shaping up to be a beautiful day. UF forecaster Morgan Plotka is live in the weather studio with how soon temperatures will return to the 80s.
That's right, Sarah, and we're looking at our 24-hour temperature change right now. We're 12 degrees cooler in Jacksonville, 14 degrees cooler in St. Augustine, and 5 degrees cooler when we woke up today in Gainesville. And we're looking to be even cooler tomorrow morning when we wake up to temperatures in the low 50s. 49 degrees in Gainesville, 50 degrees in Ocala, and 53 degrees in the Villages. But we are going to start to warm up later this week. When we see temperatures right now are in the 70s, 73 degrees in Gainesville, 74 degrees in Ocala, and 77 degrees in the Villages, where temperatures are going to remain pretty warm until tomorrow morning when we get that cool down. Now, here's a live look at Crystal River, where it's looking really nice and sunny outside. Back to you.
The Florida man who lit himself on fire outside a New York courthouse has died. On Friday, investigators with the New York Police Department say St. Augustine resident Max Azzarello drenched himself in accelerant before setting himself on fire outside the courthouse where former President Trump is on trial. Officials in the area rushed to aid the man who they say had been spreading pamphlets discussing conspiracy theories. He was rushed to the hospital where officials later confirmed his death.
Law enforcement in 3 local counties are investigating the causes of a number of deadly crashes over the weekend. The first is in Putnam County, where a 7-year-old died after an ATV crash. Officials say the child was sitting on the back of the four-wheeler when it took a sharp turn around Hog Waller Mud Bog ATV Resort. The impact caused the child to hit a tree stump. He was taken to Putnam General Hospital, where he later died. And in Waldo, a SUV crash leaves 2 dead during the chase a suspected stolen vehicle out of Alachua County. The Florida Highway Patrol assisted Bradford County Sheriff's Office during the pursuit of a Honda CR-V. Officials say the trooper followed the SUV through State Road 24 and hit the back of the vehicle. They say a subsequent pit maneuver triggered the car to roll over and hit a cement pole, throwing one of the 4 people inside. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Officials pronounced 1 more dead upon their arrival to the hospital. The investigation is still ongoing. The Florida Highway Patrol is investigating the 3rd deadly crash. This one happened in Marion County. Troopers say an SUV turned left from north on Southeast 104th Trail when it crashed into a motorcycle driving east Friday. The motorcycle hit the SUV's left side, which they say led to the driver and passenger being thrown from his bike. Officials say both died at the scene while the SUV driver was taken to a local hospital to be treated.
We've learned new information about the drug investigation that closed the Sonic restaurant in Stark on Friday. 2 people are facing drug charges. Deputies with the Bradford County Sheriff's Office arrested Caitlin Watkins and Madison Loftus on charges including possession of a controlled substance. We told you Friday the restaurant was closed while the deputies searched a drug warrant. Officials say they have released the property back to Stark back to their owners, yet it won't reopen until further notice.
Deputies in Marion County are investigating the shooting deaths of 2 people over the weekend. The Sheriff's Office says Sunday morning they received reports of a shooting at an apartment on Southeast 132nd Place in Bellevue. Investigators say the shooting appears to be an isolated incident. They have not yet released the identities of the victim. President Biden has declared this week as National Crime Victims' Rights Week, and Alachua County has many different resources for victims. Some of these resources include 24-hour crisis intervention, community outreach programs, and assistance in filing for legal protections. These services are free and available to all victims, whether or not an arrest has been made.
Today is Earth Day, and what better way to celebrate than helping out the planet? Here in Gainesville, we have a zero waste ordinance, meaning that residents should not be throwing out things they can still use. WUFT's JT Lynch has more on how to be more sustainable with your items.
While Gainesville does have that rule in place, the issue is that tens of thousands of students relocate at the end of every spring semester, and they tend to be wasteful. Now, organizations locally here in Gainesville, including the Salvation Army that I'm at right now, are looking to give students more sustainable options. Gainesville has had more than 4,500 apartment buildings built or approved since 2013, and even more on the way. Many of those apartments, along with 30 dorm buildings, are built in order to house the more than 60,000 students at Santa Fe College and the University of Florida. That means the discarding of thousands of pieces of furniture around the same time every year.
Most people that I've lived with or roommates, they typically just throw out all their stuff.
Gainesville is a zero-waste city, meaning that residents should not be throwing out things considered usable. Beginning this year, apartment buildings and the university are meant to set aside areas for students to put usable things they're getting rid of. Even if your apartment building does not offer that, you have many options. Selling your things online, putting them in storage facilities if you plan on returning in the fall, and going directly to local organizations that not only help the environment, but the community.
We are an answer to wasting those items and causing the environmental impact that they can in the landfill.
Many students say that the reason why that they throw their things away is because it's convenient. Well, Major Hull told me that if you call the Salvation Army, they'll show up, they'll help you move your heavy things, and they'll take it off of your hands. Now reporting live here in Gainesville, JT Lynch, WUFT News.
And if you want to celebrate the nature that surrounds you, here are a few events to check out. Until May 11th, Santa Fe College will partner with nonprofit organizations to give your items a second chance. You can donate your items from 9 a.m. until noon at their Northwest campus. Also join Alachua County in a friendly competition to see which of its cities can capture the most wildlife photos this April 26th. Or you can volunteer to plant trees along Tower Road with the University of Florida on April 27th, starting at 10 a.m.
Tonight, the UF community will see the largest single sitting Passover Seder celebration in North America. In less than an hour, more than 1,000 UF community members will come together in this Jewish celebration at the O'Connell Center. Director of Shabbat UF Rabbi Burl Goldman says any person, regardless of affiliations or religious background, is invited to celebrate this community's resilience during a time full of setbacks. Doors open at 6 p.m. Passover commemorates the celebration of the Jewish nation.
Coming up on WUFT's First at 5, closures along a prominent highway might add a few more minutes to your commute. We'll tell you where you should expect those delays in a few minutes.
A book sale takes over Gainesville with great prices in your favorite classics. We give you a sneak peek into this event that had people waiting for hours.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Calling all bookworms, a Gainesville volunteer organization, is holding a sale for books at a fraction of original prices. WUFT's Alex Land is live in the studio to tell us why this event brings in lines that wrap around the building.
The Friends of the Library book sale is the largest of its kind in the Southeast. Portions of the proceeds made from this 5-day event are donated to the Alachua County Library District and local community literacy projects. The aroma of weathered paper, sounds of shopping carts wheeling by, and views of shoppers lined up in anticipation of their next big read. 3 things that capture the environment of the Friends of the Library spring book sale. FOL Executive Board member Ellen Smith began volunteering 15 years ago after she retired.
This year, the line seems even longer on Saturday. I don't know how that happens. We have wonderful shoppers. They come on Friday to line up to start Saturday at 9 a.m.
Book Sale Committee Chair Donna Shouty says sorting, pricing, and displaying the books takes the team of volunteers 6 weeks.
You couldn't believe how many tasks there are to do a sale like this.
Friends of the Library spends the entire year collecting books like these for their biannual sale. Books are priced as low as 25 cents and usually do not exceed $1. This factor alone entices shoppers like Michael Lawrence.
You know, with things not really being more than $1, it's easy to just throw a bunch of stuff that I wouldn't normally be sure about and just kind of go for it. I feel like this is a good way to go without knowing what I'm looking for. I can sort of find things, and they'll find me.
Not only is Ellen excited for shoppers to find that next book they just can't put down, but also for what the sale means for used books.
They don't go to the landfill, they go into new homes, they get a new life. It's satisfying.
On Tuesday, all items will be half off, and on Wednesday, all items are just 10 cents. Any book not sold will be donated to local nonprofits to encourage literacy in Alachua County. Live in the studio, Alex Land, WUFT News.
If you're traveling out of town or driving up for the Friends of the Library book sale, you may want to be careful. You could see some slowdowns along I-75 in Marion County near US 27 and County Road 318 as Duke Energy is working along the highway. Taking a look at our DOT cam, you might see some traffic starting to build up in these areas. If you find yourself driving through, make sure you look for directions from Florida Highway Patrol troopers and stay alert.
A Florida nonprofit organization is holding 2 food drives this week to provide fresh food for families. FarmShare partners with local farmers to limit food waste while also providing produce for food insecure families around Florida. Their first food drive is this Wednesday at Anglis and Vets Post 447 at 8 a.m. in partnership with Women Working with Women. FarmShare is holding an additional food drive this Saturday at the Gainesville Regional Airport. Families are asked to use vehicles with trunks or trunk beds during the drive-through events.
We're waking up a little bit cooler tomorrow morning with temperatures in the 50s, and then we're going to warm back up with temperatures in the 80s. I'll tell you a little bit more about that coming up next.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
It's looking absolutely beautiful outside. Here's a live look at Crystal River. Blue skies, lots of white clouds in the sky. Perfect day to maybe go for a nature walk, considering it's my personal favorite holiday, Earth Day. Now here's a look at our temperatures for right now. It is 73 degrees in Gainesville, 74 degrees in Ocala, 76 degrees in the Villages, and it's really starting to feel warm outside, considering we woke up a little bit cooler. Now here's a look at our satellite and radar. We got a high pressure system in Jackson and Houston. That's going to leave all the showers up north, and then it's going to remain pretty dry in north central Florida. If you have a look at our satellite and radar, if you have a look at north central Florida, it's going to remain pretty dry for the rest of the week. Showers are up in the north, and then it's a perfect week to go to the pool and beach because it's just going to be dry with no rain coming into the area. Now, today is my personal favorite holiday, Earth Day, and it is going to be pretty cool today. 6 p.m. we're going to drop to the 70s, not going to feel as warm, and then it's going to be in the 60s at 9 p.m., getting a little bit chilly, and then overnight we're going to get into sweater weather around the 50s. So it's going to look a little bit cooler. Tomorrow morning we're going to wake up even cooler with temperatures in the 50s. 49 degrees in Gainesville, 50 degrees in Ocala, and 53 degrees in the Villages, where temperatures are going to remain pretty cool, but then they're going to quickly start to warm up at around noon, and it's going to get to temperatures around in the 80s for tomorrow. Now, because of those temperature warm-ups, we are going to feel that pollen coming in. Here's a look at Monday. It's a little bit moderate, Tuesday moderate, and then Wednesday it's going to be high. So if you're coughing and sneezing, it's because of that pollen that's coming in the air. Now, the dew point temperature is the measure of moisture in the atmosphere, and dew point temperatures are low. They're going to remain in the 50s, so it's not going to feel as humid outside, and it's going to look pretty nice as well. The UV index is around 8 today and tomorrow. So if you're looking to get your tan on, go to the beach and pool. Go to the pool, get your tan on because the UV is around 8. Now let's have a look at the rest of the week. Temperatures are going to go up to the 80s, but tomorrow we are going to get to the 50s, and then it's going to quickly cool up for the rest of the week. Back to you.
Gators gymnastics has put on a show all season, and it all came down to this past weekend in the NCAA championships. The Gators went head-to-head with some of the best teams in the country. I'll bring you this and more in sports when I get back. Don't change that channel.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Happy Monday, let's talk sports. As always, I'm Alexis Vivanco. Florida gymnastics reached an impressive feat on the floor this past weekend, but was unable to bring home the big prize. WUFT's Ben McLeish tells us about the Gators outing.
The Gators came up short in the 2024 NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championship with a 4th place finish, while the number 2 LSU Tigers won their first gymnastics title in school history.
Florida got off to a slow start on vault while LSU shined on the floor in the first rotation. The Gators finished the rotation in 4th place and were never able to come back.
This team fought, continued to show up day after day, getting 1% better.
Despite the loss, junior standout Leanne Wong scored an event-high 9.95 on both floor and bars. Head coach Jenny Rowland expressed how proud she was of the Gators' performance this season.
So I couldn't have asked for anything more, and we get to do it all over again next year.
Freshman phenom Anya Pilgrim is one of Florida's stars returning next year. She said she was happy with the Gators' accomplishments this season.
Well, we might have not been number 1, but we've reached so many goals along the way, and that's just incredible, especially since nobody thought we would get this far.
Despite losing stars Trinity Thomas and Kayla DiCello in the offseason, Gator Gymnastics exceeded expectations and finished as the number 4 team in the country. In the Gainesville Regional Final, the Gators posted a 198.325, the 3rd highest score in the entire tournament.
Florida did not get the result it wanted this year, but the future looks bright for the young Gators squad. With 6 freshmen currently on the team, the Gators should be title contenders for years to come. From Dickies Arena in Fort Worth, Texas, Ben McLeish, WUFT Sports.
Florida baseball also faced their share of struggles this weekend when they traveled to Tennessee to take on the Vanderbilt Commodores. The series got off to a rocky start, with Florida taking L's on Thursday and Friday. The Gators' own Jack Caglione tied the NCAA's home run record by hitting a homer in 9 straight games. Sunday, though, saw a strong finish, punctuated with a Tyler Shawna home run, to put the series away with a final score of 6-2. The Gators return for a home tilt against Stetson tomorrow night. The Gators softball, on the other hand, held the fort down when the South Carolina Gamecocks rolled into town for a weekend series. Both Florida and South Carolina managed to score a win apiece to kick off the weekend, leaving Sunday's rubber match to be the equalizer. The win would ultimately come off the arm of not freshman phenom Keegan Rothrock, but 5th-year transfer Mackenzie Wooden. UF ultimately took the series 2-1 to claim their 5th SEC series of the year. Florida faces a long-awaited rivalry against FSU Wednesday. In some golf news, former Gator Billy Horschel has won the Corales Punta Cana Championship in the Dominican Republic.
Thank you so much for that sports update, Alexis. I just want to say thank you to WFT for helping me grow as a journalist as I graduate in May. The last 4 semesters of telling North Central Florida stories have been so special. I cannot thank the viewers enough for tuning in at 5 p.m. and for the WFT team for teaching me all I know about being a storyteller. Also, shout out to our amazing director, Kimberly Brum. Thank you, WFT.
Yes, and serving Greensville and the greater North Central Florida area has been a highlight of my journalism career thus far. I've had the honor of anchoring at the desk, reporting from the field, and sharing top headlines on our radio station as well. Thank you to the WUFT News team, including our lovely producer, Mariana Peña-Rueda, who is also graduating with us, for helping us succeed week after week. Thanks to you at home for trusting us with your news.
I've had such an amazing time being able to forecast the weather for WFT. This experience has been life-changing, and a big thank you to the WFT's news crew. Can't believe it's the last one. Before we sign off, here's one last check on the weather. It's looking pretty cool tomorrow morning, but we are going to warm up for the rest of the week and get back to the 80s.
Thank you for joining us. We'll be back here tomorrow for another edition of First at 5.
Your North Central Florida news is always on at WUFT.org.